you.
Hello, Cancer Warriors. This is Tanya, your holistic cancer wellness specialist with Power Pantaloons podcast. And today we have Beverly, and I'm going to let Beverly introduce us because I don't want to butcher her
It's
whole name.
Aminata.
Aminata.
Spencer. Yeah.
Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tanya. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You are quite welcome. I am really excited to talk with you about essential oils and Young Living. I don't currently use Young Living, but I absolutely did use Young Living, specifically the raindrop technique while I was going through it was one of the modalities that I use. So why don't you tell everybody what your zone of genius is and a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a certified holistic health counselor specializing in the use of Young Living essential oils, which have literally been my only medicine after food for 25 years now, since July of 99, a quarter century.
Wow.
And you mentioned the raindrop technique. I actually learned the raindrop technique from Gary Young himself back in 2003 or 4.
A
Yeah.
long time ago, right?
Yeah. It's an amazing thing. And I actually teach it. So I'm also an educator, an artist, a dancer, musician. I have a BA in music from Yale and a professional certificate from the Dance Theater of Harlem. I've been dancing and drawing and singing and being an artist since I was 3 years old. So that's part of who I am. But now lately I'm combining the healing arts with the other arts to help people be well and feel well and all that.
Holistically.
Yes,
Yeah.
holistic. Yes, that's the key. Yeah.
Spirit is part of that equation. A lot of people leave that out. And
Spirit, yes.
the arts and dance and singing and things of that nature, I think are spirit parts.
Definitely. Definitely. It's definitely spiritual. Music is the universal language. And in ancient cultures, the artists, the dancers, the musicians, they were the healers too, you know?
The
Yeah.
shamans.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing, the arts. I mean, music can heal, just like one drop of oil, as you know, as an aromatherapist, how like one drop can make a difference in your whole life. It can really shift everything because
Music absolutely
frequency,
can. Yes,
frequency is what makes it. Yeah.
absolutely. I have a wonderful set of chakra tuning forks that I love.
Well, you mentioned sound, so may I share my
Absolutely.
newest bowl?
Oh, I don't hear it.
Oh no, you don't hear
Oh,
it.
now I do. When you put it right next to the microphone, I heard it a little bit.
Oh, I thought it was gonna. You know what it is? It's my computer. This computer, the sound is not good. On my cell phone, when I record, it's good. I have to set up a microphone. I apologize because,
Oh, it's okay. The
yeah,
intention is there, right? Like the intention.
yeah. And what I do, what I created in 2018 is my original modality, which I named MASS, Meditation Aromatherapy Sound Session, where I combine meditation, aromatherapy, and I play my Himalayan singing bowls. And it's a
Mm,
beautiful combination. I've done it with people from babies. I had some babies. I've done it with young people, disabled people, senior citizens, even teenagers. I did it a couple of times at the local library just for teenagers. And one time I did a semi-private session and two women and one had her dog with her. And the dog was meditating. She said afterwards, she said, the dog never meditates when she's trying to meditate, but the dog liked my session. So yeah.
that's amazing. I get mixed reactions with my animals when it comes to meditating and
Uh-huh.
sound healing and stuff like that. Sometimes they participate, sometimes they're just not interested.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, animals and meditating, I was listening. Do you know Dr. Sue Morter of the Energy Codes? Dr. Sue Morter, Morter Institute. Well, amazing. You need to check her out. It's Morter, Morter, Dr. Sue. She's a chiropractor, but she wrote this incredible book called The Energy Codes. I highly recommend it. But she does a monthly healing transmission. And I missed it this month. It's usually the last Wednesday of the month. And this month, it was early, a week early. And so I was listening to the replay the other night, and my cat, my little Sadie Bear cat, came and sat on my lap and I'm meditating, and then I look, and she is literally, my cat, looking at the screen, listening to Dr. Sue Morter do the transmission. It was pretty amazing. I just had to share that since you mentioned animals and meditation. Yeah.
I, you know, when I was diagnosed, I had a cat. Her name was Samantha, and she was 18.
Oh,
And she decided that the day I went in for round two of chemo was the day that she was going to cross the Rainbow Bridge.
oh.
And I believe in my heart of hearts that she did that so that she could be inpatient with me because all of my chemotherapy was inpatient. And I believe that there was a lovely little warm purring indent on my pillow each and every time.
Hmm.
And after spending 18 years with a soul, right, like I really thought
Yes.
I was going to be absolutely devastated by her passing. And I was upset, but I really felt very comforted while I was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time the day I left the hospital after the last round of chemo was the last day I felt her presence. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay with it, right? Like I really thought I was going to be just,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so weird, right? Like how spirit plays. It just
Definitely. Yeah.
it's amazing to me.
But the
And
spirit never dies. So, you found comfort in knowing that, obviously. Yeah.
yes, yes. And she knew I was sick long before I did.
Mm.
She started licking me. She started cleaning me obsessively, and I couldn't figure out why she was doing it. And
Uh-huh.
honestly, it didn't even occur to me until like 3 or 4 years later. I was like, like
Mhm,
I got
mhm.
that like, oh my God, that's what that was. She knew, and
Yeah.
she was trying to clean away the cancer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But we
Ah,
could talk about intuition and how important that is.
oh, definitely. Intuition. We have to, and listening to our bodies and being in tune with our bodies, because no one knows our body better than we do because we live in it. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that a doctor is going to know better than you when you can intuit things if you're sensitive enough, and you know
Everybody can. They
yes,
just have
everybody,
to take the time to develop
the
the
skill.
listening
Yes,
because it's a
listening.
skill, right?
Mhm,
Like because everybody, when you meet somebody and the hair on the back of your neck raises, you already know. Like, so
mhm,
your body already talks to you in ways that we don't understand fully yet, right? So
definitely.
if you honor and respect those little tellings, your body will be louder.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
This,
yeah.
this is one of my big soapboxes, Beverly, because
Yes.
there was no cancer markers in my blood, my pap smear, my
Uh-huh,
ultrasound,
uh-huh.
all of that stuff came back fine or inconclusive.
Mhm.
They actually had to do a DNC to find my cancer.
Wow.
And it's because I knew there was something wrong,
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
and my doctor respected that. She said, okay, so this test came back negative or inconclusive. The next
uh-huh.
step would be, and then she's like, do you want to proceed? And we just
Mhm,
walked up
mhm.
the ladder until we figured it out. And
Yeah,
it has everything to do with listening to my body.
and knowing that also that the body can heal itself, and if we give to our bodies what it needs, we can heal. We have the power to heal ourselves. I mean, people can be healed just through a touch sometimes, and through an intention, and through energy you know
I I I personally believe that allopathic medicine, Western doctors, they play a big part, right? But they're not the only part. You you have to heal holistically everything, mind, body, and spirit, because
and
it starts as
emotions,
a
emotions.
dis-ease.
Mhm,
Right. Yes, it starts in emotions.
mhm,
It can start with trauma
mhm,
and
mhm.
then it can progress to full-blown disease.
Yeah. The thing about holistic um healing is that if you heal one part of the body, the rest of the body can heal too, which unlike allopathic, where they basically treat symptoms rather than go to the root cause and work with that. That's my belief and understanding, the difference. I mean, for an emergency, like if you break a bone and stuff, then you definitely, although I've heard of people who have healed bones without, yeah.
Yes, but if you have access to allopathic medicine, you should be using it in conjunction with other
Alternative,
ways, right?
yeah.
Like, and just figuring out what modality resonates with you. You
Hmm.
do that by intuition. Your
Yes.
body will tell you.
Hmm.
If you're making faces, that's
Yeah.
clearly not a modality for you. But if you lean in and like your body is telling you that you should be a little bit more interested in what's going on there.
Yeah. You ever do kinesiology with the
No,
muscle testing and stuff?
I very little. I don't know very much about
Because
that.
that's intuition too, and that's your body's telling you. Um, like if you're holding something and then like I had my chiropractor do this before, and I learned it through the energy codes too. But if you're holding something and then you have somebody test your, you know, your strength, and if it goes weak, then it's not good. But if it stays strong, then so it's another way of saying what's right for you without
Yeah.
intuitively kind of, but with the body, with the energy of the body, listening. It's a listening way too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's sort of how I stumbled into aromatherapy originally,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Was chiropractic. I went to
Uh-huh.
see a chiropractor. She was a friend of mine, and she had Young Living everywhere in her office, and
Uh-huh.
that's how that started. And then I ended up, once I got diagnosed, we would pull out the massage table, and I'd lay down, and I'd be coated in the olive oil or grapeseed oil or whatever, right? And then they would go absolutely nuts with, is it 7 or 9 different oils and
Oh, the
raindrop?
raindrop. Yeah, the raindrop has 9 oils. Yeah. And then you also could add white angelica, the practitioner wearing white angelica, but that's, yeah, to protect against other people's energies. And yeah, but
Yeah, well,
you end up
you know,
smelling like a pizza when you're done, right?
I absolutely always smelled like pizza. It's fantastic.
Because of the
Uh,
oregano, thyme, marjoram, basil.
Basil,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, absolutely. Just a couple drops of each oil. Oregano is so absolutely
Powerful.
like, if we want to talk about the top 3 essential oils that I would want, oregano I think is one of them. A
Really.
thyme chemotype thymol would be another,
Uh,
and then it would be a toss up between tea tree and lavender.
well, lavender is the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. When
I
in doubt,
know,
lavender is good for everything,
I
Tanya.
know, but
Stress,
I don't
tension,
like the
anxieties,
smell of
burns,
it.
rashes. It'll stop bleeding. You
I
know,
know.
lavender, if you could, and then what about frankincense?
I love frankincense too. Like I need at least a top 10, right? Like because I
Yeah,
can't,
yeah, yeah.
top 3 is real hard.
You
Real
named
hard.
some, the ones you named would not be on my top few.
Right. And
No?
and I think that would be different from every practitioner, right? And it has
Yes.
to do with your intuition and what is right for you and your
Mhm.
circumstances.
Mhm.
And if you're assisting people, they would pick the ones that are intuitively right for them.
But you know about this, I'm sure you know about this, but let me ask you anyway. If you, when I'm in person with somebody, I'm putting oils on people who are putting them under their nose anyway. But the ones that you don't like the smell of, those are the ones you need, right? Were you taught that or something
So
else?
that's my love-hate relationship with lavender. When I can tolerate it is when I need it. But like there are days where I just absolutely cannot because
Really? Wow.
yeah, yeah. Um And then some days I'm like, this smells delicious. And then I look
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, this is lavender, right? Like, and I know that where it's harvested, the year that it's harvested.
And the type of lavender, I mean, Lavandula angustifolia versus Lavandula officinalis, they're two different plants, really.
Yes,
And
they
also
are.
the where it's harvested in the actual
World.
plant.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And even like I just opened up a peppermint bottle of peppermint that smells so sweet from Young Living, but not all of them smell that. It depends on,
The
there's subtle
year,
changes. Yeah, subtle changes.
because drought plays the chemotype, the chemical makeup of the essential oil is determined by so many different things, which is why it's super important to get yourself a copy of the GCMS report so that you can see what specific what the chemical breakdown is.
And you also need to know the kind of soil it's grown on, because if the soil, you can have the best organic seed, but if it's grown on soil that's had fungicides or pesticides, that's going right into the plant,
Yes,
distilled into the oil. So, that's, to me, that's key. Of course, the gas chromatograph, to know all the chemical constituents that make it up is important, but to me it's more important to know, well, first, that it's the right plant, because the thing about lavender, though, Tanya, since you mentioned it, a lot of people say, oh, it's French lavender. And remember years ago when the French lavender was, they were almost out of French lavender. France couldn't produce as much French lavender as people say it's
needed.
French, because a lot of people say it's lavender when it's lavandin, or,
Yep.
or it's lavender fragrance, not essential oil. There's a big difference between fragrance oils and essential oils.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
plug it in is not aromatherapy. Hello.
No, it
It
it is not.
is
Fragrance
more
oils
like, yeah,
are a
poison in
chemical
my
cocktail.
opinion.
They're not natural plants.
No. Yeah.
And I fragrance oils have their place. I don't want to poo poo on anybody's parade. Um, but I'm actually allergic to fragrance oils.
Yeah, because, well, in this country you can put a label on something and it only has to be 10% of what the label says. So you got to really be careful.
And proprietary blends they don't have to put on. Like.
Well, yeah, I guess some maybe, but you brought up blends. Now, can I tell you a story about the blends and the frequency? Because we talked about frequency earlier.
Yes, we could talk about frequency. We could talk, I love essential oils, and I got certified back in 2016. I
Hmm.
Because I wanted to know more about them.
Yeah, yeah. I signed up for that same program. We spoke about that, and I haven't completed it. I haven't had time, but I consider myself an expert with 25 years of studying Young Living, and with all the different trainings that I've had. But frequency. So, the oils have a frequency, and Young Living's blends carry the frequency of their name. So I had an experience that I shared to illustrate that the frequencies carry the names of the oils carry the frequency. Because years ago, when I had a membership at the Harlem Y, when I was a teacher in the Bronx, I would, go to the Harlem Y, I'd take belly dance classes, and I'd use the steam room and the sauna to wash my hair, which was a lot longer than it is now. Anyway, and they never have hot water. So this day they didn't have hot water. I was pissed. So I went to the highest ranking person's office. It happened to be on that particular day, the fitness director. So I'm sitting in her office, and I never leave home without a little thing of 2 milliliter oils and different oils. So I'm putting oils under her nose. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So I don't have, this isn't it, but pretend this is forgiveness. I'm putting it under her nose. She goes, oh, I don't like that. So I looked in the book and I read the single oils that make up forgiveness. And she didn't have a problem with any of the oils that make up forgiveness. But she told me, Tanya, that she never forgives anyone. And she couldn't stand the smell of Young Living's forgiveness oil. Now, I shared that with, I don't know, hundreds of people over 25 years, and not one person has disliked forgiveness oil. So, but she could not stand it. And to say that she never forgives anybody, that's like, hello, doesn't that illustrate what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes, you know, um, yeah, I like valor.
Oh, I love Valor. I put it on the soles of my feet every day. It's the first oil. Aligns the spine, balances the chakras. They call it the chiropractor in the bottle. Yeah, yeah.
Do they?
It's
That's
the first
interesting.
it's the first oil in the raindrop technique, because the raindrop technique, it starts with the feet, Valor on the feet. Yeah, that's the real raindrop. Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, it's been 16 and a half, almost 17 years since you- I did raindrop every week, right, for a
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
and then I stopped. I
Mm.
I didn't
But didn't
need
it
it.
make you feel good, the raindrop? It's just like, ah.
It did. It did.
And it stays in your system for a week. So by the time it was gone, you had another one if you had it weekly, right? So you were,
Yes, we listen. I we had detoxifying baths. There was one activity where my friend made up this mud concoction,
oh
slathered
yeah.
me in mud, and then took a roll of saran wrap and saran
Oh
wrapped
yeah.
me from toes to nose,
Uh-huh,
and I
uh-huh,
sat like that for an hour, and then I got to go take a shower and get all the mud
uh-huh.
off. Like,
And that drew,
like,
drew out all those toxins through the skin, right?
yeah, I
Hmm.
and what is super important to say, obviously neither one of us is giving away medical advice, right? But
Right.
also I had a conversation with my oncologist and I told him these are all the woo woo crazy things that I'm doing while I'm going through chemo and radiation. And he said, awesome. He rolled his eyes at me,
Uh-huh,
honestly,
uh-huh,
and he told me no herbs. And of course, I asked why. And he said because he didn't want me to ingest anything that was going to counteract the chemotherapy.
uh-huh.
Clearly, he didn't know anything about essential oils.
Right.
But I wasn't going to argue with him and I
Yeah.
wasn't going to educate him at that time. He just
Right.
needed to know
Uh-huh.
what I was doing so
Uh-huh.
that he could be fully aligned, right? Like
Mhm.
I felt strongly that I needed friends, family, and medical team to all be in alignment with the fact that I was kicking cancer's butt
Right.
and that I was going to do it my way, which
Hmm.
was allopathic and holistic together in
Hmm.
harmony,
Hmm.
and you know do my spiritual practices and walk barefoot on the
Yeah,
grass. And
grounding and earthing. Yeah.
yes, it's super important.
Yes,
And
nature, just being around nature and looking at green and blue, the blue of the ocean. Color therapy in nature is so healing. Oh my God. Yeah. Right?
chromotherapy is amazing. Yes. Yeah, everybody's like, what's chromotherapy? Chromotherapy is using color,
Color.
like,
Yeah.
because different colors represent and bring different energies or vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
There are two for healing, green and blue. However, green also promotes growth. So if you have something that's growing, like cancer, you want to stay away from the color green, which is why I went real hard into blue, which is the other
Blue's
color for
very
healing.
healing. You see, I have my
And
blue wall here.
blue walls, blue hair, blue stuffed animals,
Uh-huh.
blue
Uh-huh.
blue everything, blue wigs. We totally did that, right? Um, blue curtains. Like I made myself new curtains and duvets and everything, right? I didn't have
Mhm.
a lot of activities going on, so I could sit with the sewing machine and I just
Uh-huh.
made a whole new set of curtains and
Mhm.
re reimagined my entire room. And it wasn't even until like a year ago that I thought back to the fact that in my bedroom during this time I had 30 or 40 plants, right? And then I would close the door. So I was in a very oxygenated area while I slept.
Mhm. 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 Yeah.
And I wouldn't have remembered that. Like, I wouldn't have put that as part of my healing practice, but clearly it was, right? Like, and you never know.
Well, essential oils oxygenate, young living oils. When they go in the skin, they go into the bloodstream and they oxygenate the blood, and disease doesn't live in oxygen, you know? So that's a natural way to get the benefits topically through young living oils anyway. I can't speak for other oils, but
I, there are a couple of brands out there that I would recommend. Plant Therapy being one of them.
Mhm, mhm.
Also endorsed by Robert Tisserand, who at one point was
One of
Gary's.
his teachers, one of his many. Yeah.
Yes. So um I love those oils. And obviously you're going to have to do your research and you're going to have to feel comfortable with the oils that you're using. Where's I go? I was going somewhere with this. I don't know where I was going with this.
Color therapy, plants. I'm sorry, I interrupted your train of thought.
No, it's okay. This is my mind buffering. Sometimes it does that, you know.
If I were there
Chemotherapy,
with you, I'd give you a drop of clarity. But if you have peppermint handy, take a drop of peppermint. It helps with mental clarity.
rosemary does too.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh oh, I know where I was going. So thank you. That helped. Inhaling, it goes straight into your bloodstream. It is the fastest modality. And people want to poo-poo aromatherapy as junk science, but
No, it's
the
not junk science.
just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's junk. Number
And in
one,
Europe, they've been using essential oils in hospitals for like 100 years or more. In,
right? And it absolutely has its place, but
but it
so does
goes back to,
allopathic medicine.
yeah,
Right, right.
it
Yes, exactly.
goes
Before
back to
allopathic
thousands of
medicine
years ago.
was
Yeah, yeah.
there was aromatherapy, right? It's a modality that's transcended time because it
Mm-hmm.
actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And inhaling the essential oil, it
I
goes
say it goes to the pineal gland, the seat of the
it
soul.
goes straight into your blood system. It is the fastest modality.
But anything you put on your skin goes into your blood,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
why you want to be aware of, personal care products and things.
Oh, we could talk for hours about that,
Yeah,
Beverly.
yeah,
I
yeah.
make a lot of my own products because of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're smart to do so because I mean, look at toothpaste. I mean, the average person, the mainstream, you know, commercial toothpaste, I educate people. I said, I ask them sometimes, what kind of toothpaste you use, and they'll say, the C one or the other C one that starts with the letter C. I'm not going to say the name, but I tell them, read the label because on the back of it says, do not swallow, if so, call poison control. It's right there on the label.
Yep. Yeah.
Hello.
You know, parabens in our shampoo and in our there's so much like some preservatives have formaldehyde in them and you
Yeah.
know I learned an awful lot making my own personal cosmetics, right? And sometimes
And
that's a
it's
pain in the
so
butt.
easy to do a lot of them and not expensive sometimes too.
It depends on what you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Making soap is fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And like making scrubs, there's a simple scrub that you can do with like baking powder and hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to add some essential oil to that, you can, but
Yep.
simple
Yep.
stuff that,
Yeah. Pe- People don't want to be bothered with having to put it in the refrigerator and make small batches because if you're not putting
the
preservatives,
people like us who really care about things
yeah,
like that, it's a joy, really, I think, to be able to make stuff on your own. It's creativity.
it is. And when you have as many essential oils as I do, that you never run out of
Uh-huh.
a new smell, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but I always, it's always peppermint for the feet, right? Like because it just seems like they they put it in everything, so like I'm conditioned to put peppermint in all of my foot soaks.
Oh, well, it's a good one for foot. But you know what else is good for the feet? Maybe you don't know this, maybe you do. Lemon oil is actually good for corns and calluses. Did you know that?
I did not.
Ah, And it smells wonderful, right?
It does.
Uh-huh.
It does.
Corns and
Yeah.
callus is lemon oil. And it's also, for pain too, just massaging your feet with. So if you soak in peppermint and then finish with lemon, because lemon and peppermint together is a nice combo.
Yes, absolutely. It sure is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Been
Which,
just thinking about all the oils, right? And how long it's been since I've played. I you
yeah.
know, well, that's actually sat down and work with them other than using the diffuser every day, right? Like
Oh,
because
okay.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
that is an always thing, right? Like
I have a diffuser in every room in my apartment.
I don't because I have animals in the house. So there are
Cats
just
love them. Yeah.
yeah, but there are some oils you can't, right? And I don't want to have to like worry about that. So that there's enough space in the house that the animals are not bothered by it
Hmm.
because it's in my little office and you know, the animals don't spend a lot of time in there. So I get to sit in it and not do that. But like I will absolutely put a drop of something lavender or yeah, jasmine or whatever right on the pillowcase
Hmm.
or here
Uh-huh.
right here so that it it
Yeah.
it wafts right up. That's if I'm not wearing one of those beautiful little
Diffuser necklaces or something.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, which are amazing, but you
Mhm.
don't have to have it. I certainly don't recommend just putting it directly on your skin. You have to put carrier oil down.
What? For what?
Putting essential oils directly on your skin without a
Well,
carrier oil.
well, with Young Living, most of them you don't have to worry about a carrier oil. Some of them, the hot oils, oregano, yes, clove, maybe, but
I
lavender, neat. I mean, for
lavender is the
babies,
only one that I would recommend that way.
I've 25 years. I'm still alive and kicking. Okay.
Yes, but like my comfort level is different than your comfort level,
Right,
and that's
right, right.
okay,
Yeah.
right?
But that brings me, Tanya, if I may, a lot of the people years ago I noticed, everybody's on the therapeutic grade bandwagon. But my understanding is if you can't take it internally, it's not truly therapeutic grade. And when I know you have a problem sometimes with this, but think of this. Growing up, did you drink? Did you chew gum? Did you chew like
Yes,
spearmint flavored gum or peppermint flavored gum or wintergreen flavored gum? They
yes.
used essential oils to make in the gum. So you've been ingesting essential oils through
I
gum.
I I
That's one way. Yeah.
I I I I have I have ingested essential oils. I
Okay. Yeah.
um a lot of certified aromatherapists won't recommend that because
Mhm.
because it's complex, right? And you don't want to hurt anybody. And
But
um
look, let me just contradict that. I mean, contrast that, juxtapose that with all these commercials on what I call tell lie vision that are saying, ask your doctor if this pill is right for you. And then they have to go and
oh that's a whole nother
a whole litany of the side effects from something that your doctor is recommending for you. So, that's
yes.
me. I'm a rebel. I'm
Right.
sorry. Uh,
Don't
but
don't no don't apologize for it. It's okay for us to have a different opinion on this.
yeah, yeah.
Um you know, I while I was going through my cancer journey, I carried a bottle of lemon essential young living specifically,
Citrus oils
and
are definitely anti-cancer. They're
and I was putting it in my water.
hello.
I was. I admit that I did do that for a time,
I
but
have it in
again,
my water right now.
but I'm not going to recommend somebody else do that because that's where my comfort level is at this time.
Okay.
So, you know, but adults make adult decisions and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
decide for themselves if that's something that they want to do, right? Like it whether or not it was a factor in my healing, I will never know.
Well, it
At the
it
time,
couldn't hurt. At good
I,
night, as they
at the
say.
time, I
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
believed that it was helping me, and I'm still here, right? The kind of cancer that I had about a 5% chance of survival.
Wow.
So I believe that every little nuance that I included or didn't include
Mm-hmm.
played a part in that.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So, take
Well,
that as you may, right? Like,
yeah.
so
Yeah. And then you mentioned working integratively. Are you familiar with this book by any chance?
I might have that book floating around my house somewhere.
It's thick.
No, maybe not. I have smaller Young Living books.
This is the Essential Oils Integrative Medical Guide by Gary Young. And this is building immunity, increasing longevity, enhancing, I don't have my glasses, mental performance with therapeutic grade essential oils. And it was written in, I think he wrote it in 2000, Gary Young. There he is.
Yeah.
Um, but and I have books with the protocols. I mean, yeah, with protocols for different cancers, reference books with citing the research done by doctors and scientists all over
Yeah.
the world. And so, there's evidence. It's evidence based. It's science backed,
I,
you know.
absolutely. There's so much research out there
Hmm.
on holistic and herbals. Like, we could talk about mushrooms for a minute, right?
Uh-huh.
All of the beautiful mushrooms
Oh
that
yeah.
have
Yeah. Plants.
anti-cancerous properties,
Plants.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty of plants. And the rainforest that we humans are killing off too
Mm,
quickly has plants that have never even been identified yet, and every
yeah.
one of them has a use that
Yep.
we can, yeah.
Yes. The world of herbalism is just amazing. And if
Mm-hmm.
you look at uh, SEXT,
At
have
what?
you heard SEXT? There was a nurse in Canada curing people with cancer with a tea blend that she got from a Native American
Oh
shaman.
yeah. Oh, please. Ancient
Yep.
ancient cultures were healing long before there were pharmaceuticals and pharmacies. Plants were the medicine. Food. Food is your first medicine.
Food
And
is your first medicine.
let food be thy medicine. Medicine thy food,
I,
so yeah.
when I went through my journey, I did not fix my nutrition at that time. And it
Mhm.
was one of the things that I didn't do. Um, I have since corrected that, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if you want to prevent things, start with what you're putting in your mouth.
Thank you. Thank you. Because you are what
Absolutely.
you eat. You are what you eat. And think of
Absolutely.
this, and I'm sure you've thought of this, but for who's ever listening who might get something from it, eating dead animals, how could something dead bring life to your living body?
Uh, I'm a carnivore. I eat meat. Um, and I do think that we need to, but I don't want to start any fight over that. I have known some vegetarians that are stupendously healthy, right? And
Mhm.
some or not.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if
uh,
you're eating processed foods that are vegetarian, processed foods are not good because they're processed.
yes, yes. My brother-in-law is a vegetarian and has been his entire life.
Hmm.
He is one of the healthiest people I know, but he'll eat cheese by the bucket load, right? Like, I,
But does he
he's
eat vegan cheese? Maybe he's eating vegan cheese.
no, he is not. He is
Oh, okay.
1000%
Okay.
eating cheese, straight up
Okay.
cheese.
Uh-huh.
Um, but he's not vegan, right? Like, he's a
Yeah. Yeah.
vegetarian, and there's a lot of, I mean, amazing
Also, if you,
vegetarian food out there.
we talked about energy. If you're praying over your food, it makes a difference too.
Uh, yes, I certainly imbue my food with healing love.
There you go. There you go.
Um, I definitely do that, and I don't know if you've heard about when you speak to water, it changes how the
Oh
crystal
yes,
is.
Dr.
Okay.
Emoto's work. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I kind of figured you had. So
Yeah.
one of so he has an oracle deck of all the little crystals, right? And one
Uh-huh.
of them is a healing crystal, water crystal. And for 15 years, that card has been on my desk underneath
The
my
water.
cup holder for my water, and I sip my water on that every day,
There
right?
you go. That's
That
the
is part of.
energy. Energy. Everything is energy.
And
And if your energy
yes,
is good, anything is possible, you know? Really, you can shift your energy. If you shift your energy from into the right realm, it's amazing what can happen, right?
I I absolutely believe that my mental attitude had a strong um uh I yeah,
Effect.
I'm here because I visualized every day that I was putting on Wonder Woman's underwear, because Wonder Woman
I
doesn't
love it.
die.
I
Well,
love it.
I mean that's why it's called Power Pantaloons, right? Like
Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Wonder Woman's underwear. I'll never forget that now.
I,
Yeah.
and so that was me actively deciding to live every day,
There you
right?
go.
And I do think that it's a choice.
It is
You may or may
everything.
not have interacted with somebody who decided not to, right? And you can tell when somebody has given up on something
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
how they respond to it and how they react.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of my very good friends walked with me through my entire cancer journey, and then half a dozen years after I finished, she got diagnosed and she decided she was not fighting it. And all I could do is respect her decision as an adult to make her own decisions. Like,
Yeah.
she's a human, and clearly I was upset by it, but you never know what somebody else is walking through. So
Right, right.
always be kind,
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's the power of, again, goes back to intention,
Yep.
intuition, energy. I mean, we create our own reality with our thoughts
We do.
and, how we choose to, what we choose and how we choose to move through the world. We create it. If we only knew how powerful we were, we would make, some of us wouldn't make certain decisions that we've made, but.
We can't control the situation. We can only control how we
We
view the
react to,
situation.
yeah, right,
Yep.
right.
So, I try to keep that in mind. One of my favorite quotes is this: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Henry Ford or Confucius or whoever you think said that
Right.
first.
Right. Well, clearly Confucius was living before Henry Ford, but I don't know.
But I didn't hear him say it.
No.
That's
Did you hear Ford say it? You're not that old, Tanya.
I'm older than you think.
uh
No, I'm not that old.
yeah.
Yeah. Beverly, I think that this has been a very beautiful conversation. How can my audience find you?
Okay. Well, a couple of years ago, I'd never be saying this, but you can find me on Facebook under my name, Beverly Aminata Spencer is my personal page. I have a group page, Aminata's Holistic Healing Arts, AHHA, which is also my new business page and my official business name, Aminata's Holistic Healing Arts, AHA. But you can also find me. Can I give my email address or what do you think?
That's up to you.
I-
I could just put it all in the
Yeah.
show notes too, how
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
find you.
that would be good. That would be good. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so that's what I'll do.
But check me out on Facebook and can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm a Facebook girl now.
Sure are. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you
I
very
thank
much for
you
being
so
with us
much.
tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanya. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. So until next time, Cancer Warriors, go get your annual testing. It's important.